Hey, good morning. Are you ready for a Monday message? I'm excited to talk about it. I'm known as the outdoor pastor too. You can go to our website, outdoorpastor.org, and you can see our videos. And I've always loved the outdoors. I remember as a kid in the springtime coming home from school, and I would walk to the backwoods and I'd see everything blooming where we lived, and I just loved it. I got excited about it. I mean, look at everything around here. I mean, the peonies are already done blooming. We got these tall uh, juniper trees. Look at the flower garden over here. I mean, it's just gorgeous. It reminds me of a song that I was listening to by the group Selah, Selah, and they have a line in there where they're talking about being in heaven, and they say where the roses bloom forever. I just love that song. Just look at that. Just heaven and its beauty, and just seeing the glory of God. And there's no need for a sun because He is the light. I love that. You know, as I think about nature, I'm thinking about this book that I'm reading, Life as We Would Want It, Life as We Are Given It. It's by Ken Geyer. He is an awesome author. And it occurred to me in a different kind of way when he writes that when we draw close to nature, reaching out to it for clues to our existence, nature takes our hands and fills them with the fertile loam of our humanity, reminding us that from the earth we were taken, and to the earth we will return. No wonder there's this connection to nature. No wonder I mean, look at the clouds. Look at that. Look at the sky. I mean, you've heard the phrase before, take time to smell the roses. We're so busy. We're sitting at our computer screens and sitting in our little cubicles, and I'm thinking about work tomorrow and what we're going to get done. I mean, look at the sky, look at the trees, look at the beauty. God made all of this. This just come from some big bang. God made all of it. It's beautiful. He has made everything beautiful in its time. And you know what? He's going to make everything beautiful in your life. Maybe you don't feel that way right now, but He's going to work everything out. For those who love God, the Bible says everything works out for the good. I just love this. It's like this connection with nature. It makes sense, right? We were formed from the ground. No wonder there's this attraction to it. And to it we shall return when we die. And then what happens to your soul? For those who believe in Jesus Christ, they will be with Him forever in heaven. It is the grace of God. I just want to read some more of this to you. I just love this. It's humbling to realize for us who have been given dominion over nature, God gave us dominion, how limited that dominion is. We can light candles, but we can't hold back the night. We can prepare for storms, but we can't prevent them. We can't stop the rains in times of flood or start them in times of drought. We can't shorten winter or lengthen spring. In nature, we are confronted with the limits of our dominion. Nowhere are those limits so obvious in the way mountains are formed. When sheer formations of rock are suddenly thrust through the surface of the earth, we are helpless to stop it, helpless to control either its duration or its devastation. We are just as helpless when some tragedy devastates us, like the death of a child, the diagnosis of cancer, the prodigal who runs away from home, the partner who walks away from marriage, the sudden disability from a wreck, or the sobering dismissal from work. Upheavals come suddenly, unexpectedly, and often catastrophically. Whenever they come, however they come, they forever alter the settled terrain that once was our life. Embedded within us are physical, spiritual, and psychological layers that make up our interior landscape. When upheavals come, they alter every layer with varying degrees of destruction that sometimes take a lifetime to unearth. Imagine for a moment that you are the landscape. The upheaval thrusts itself mercilessly through the very center of who you are. the abrading of granite, the crumbling of limestone, the crashing of boulders as they tumble down around you, shattering to pieces. You feel all of that, every grinding moment of it. Your stomach drops, your head spins, and you watch in helpless horror as the innermost parts of your life lie on the surface, exposed to the elements. The deafening noise is the sound of the upheaval, as it forces its way through every stratified layer that lies within you. Your body, mind, emotions, all of these layers are displaced. They are folded or pushed upward or thrust over each other. The social layers of your life are also shaken. And the spiritual layers that once seemed so bedrock certainties, they're shaken too. Who of us can survive the shock and aftershocks of such earth-shattering experiences? Who of us has the strength to sift through the emotional rubble of the resulting devastation? Who of us has the courage to face the future where other upheavals may face us? Meanwhile, where is God in all of this? Didn't he see the upheaval coming? Couldn't he have prevented it? Or at least warned us of it? Much the way pressure within the earth thrusts rock formations through its crust to create mountains. The seismic pressure of these unanswered questions creates some sudden and sometimes terrifying upheavals in our faith. To this bare and broken rock, hear these next two words: God comes. There, the weathering grace of God begins its work, wearing granite into soil, planting wind-blown seeds into barren slopes, bringing life out of lifelessness, beauty out of ugliness. Season after season, the work continues. In time, God turns the most terrifying of eruptions into the most majestic of mountains, the most tragic of earthquakes into the most idyllic of landscapes. That is the unrelenting work of heaven, to make everything beautiful in its time. Do you believe God's going to make everything beautiful in its time in your life? You know, people have so many questions about God. Where is God in all this? That's a big question. He's making everything beautiful. He's working in a fallen world. I want to pray with you. Dear Lord, this is from Ken Geyer's book. I believe you are a sovereign God, creator of the heavens and the earth. I believe you are ruler of the universe and Lord of the landscape of my life. However small a parcel of ground that is within your universe, it is still within your universe and still under your watchful eye. I believe you know what happens there and that you care what happens there, especially in times of upheaval. I believe you are good and work all things for good to those who love you and are called according to your purpose. I believe you are all powerful and that you make everything beautiful in its time. All these things I believe, Lord. Help my unbelief. I love that. I believe, Lord. Help my unbelief. You know, life as we would want it, life as we are given it. This is how I would want it. But a lot of times it's full of weeds and just destruction, unhappiness, sorrow. But God comes in the middle of all of that. You know, he goes on in this book to talk about Eastern Colorado versus Western Colorado. It's so interesting. Eastern Colorado is pretty much boring compared to the Western. The Western is where the Rocky Mountains are. The upheaval, the pressure of the Earth's crust pushing and making the mountains. Eastern Colorado. He says in the book, nobody goes to Colorado to the east for vacation. They go to the Rockies because from the upheaval, God has made something beautiful. Trust in him to do that in your life. I know there's a lot of questions. I know there are people out there that are like, where is God in all of this junk that is going on in the world? The world is is fallen. It's because sin entered the world. But God came into all of that to give us hope. I pray that you have that hope, that you share that hope. This is Pastor John from 15:5 Ministries. Enjoy nature. Look up at the sky. See what the clouds look like, what kind of shape they are. Enjoy the smells. Take in the ground and the beauty of it. From it you were taken. From it you were formed. And in the end, you'll be put back into it. Have a great day.